En papillote is a cooking technique that sounds very fancy. In fact, it is really not. It's essentially cooking your food in this little envelope of moisture and flavor. And it helps with cleanup too. So we are cooking dinner tonight en papillote. We're making snapper over some potatoes, roasted red peppers, and peas. This is a series I'm calling the Kitchenista cooking class. It's a little bit slower. You can get your ingredients and cook along with me. And here we go. I have a sheet pan. I'm using this Our Place sheet pan. This is a casted aluminum. You can use any sheet pan that you want. And I'm making 2 servings, so I have 2 pieces of parchment paper. I could easily fit 6 or 8 if I wanted to on the sheet pan. What's also really nice about this cooking technique is you can modify each serving to suit the flavor profile for the person that's eating it. So my husband, I'm gonna add a little ancho chili powder, maybe a little hot sauce, just to kick it up a notch. He likes things a little bit more spicy. For me, I'm going to omit that. So it really is a nice way to even get your kids involved or your spouse in the kitchen and kind of create your own little meal packets, essentially. So I have 2 pieces of parchment paper. And what I'm gonna do is fold them in half. Okay. And just put them side by side on my sheet pan. Just kind of like that for now. This is really pantry cooking. I just went and looked to see what I had in my fridge and pantry, and that's how we're making dinner tonight. So feel free to get creative, use whatever you want in your papillotes. So I'm using potato. I'm gonna slice it, peel and slice it, and I will put all of these peels into my stock bag in my freezer. So next time I make stock, I can use all these potato peels. If you wanted to keep the peels on your potatoes, go for it. Do you? I think there's this misconception about white potatoes being part of that white food, not nutritious kind of camp. In fact, white potatoes have a lot of potassium, there's fiber, there's lots to love about all types of potatoes. I think a lot has to do with the preparation and the cooking technique of your food. Diversity in your diet is really important, and the cooking technique, so how you're actually preparing that food, is also really important. It's not just the food source that we have to consider when we're making meals or choosing things to fill our plate. So these go into my stock bag. The potatoes I'm gonna put down in my little envelopes first. So I'll cut these in slices. So you don't wanna cut your potatoes too thick or they will be raw, and your protein, I'm using snapper, will be overdone. So we're gonna cut everything, kind of be mindful of the cook time when we're preparing these meals. Maybe we'll even get these in half a little bit like that. More cooking surface, shorter cook time. So we'll lay these at the center of our little envelopes like that. Okay, put this at the center of my envelope. You know what? I maybe only needed 1 potato. Stretched it. Okay. So this will be my husband's side, this will be my side. We'll give him a little bit bigger of a portion, obviously. So now I'm gonna cut up lemons. What I really like to do when I do an en papillote is top my protein, so my fish. Usually I like to do this with salmon, even chicken breast is wonderful. So top my protein with some slices of citrus. All of that juice will kind of drip down into the protein and then steam in that envelope. It's really delicious. So we'll get some lovely slices on that. I am taking the stems off. I'll pop that down my garbage disposal, just in case my husband wants to eat the lemon. Place those off to the side. Now I'm gonna slice up my roasted red pepper. So essentially what I'm doing is, before I get my hands dirty with my fish, I'm getting all of my veg chopped, because once I touch my fish, I'm gonna be a little bit landlocked here. So, as to not contaminate my kitchen. So some roasted red peppers. Again, get creative. I just happen to have an open jar of roasted red peppers in my refrigerator. Pop that off to the side. Now, when you're seasoning raw fish or chicken, what I like to do is separate out my seasonings. What you don't want to do is touch your fish or touch something and then touch your seasoning jar and then put it back in your cabinet, because then you've now contaminated this item, right? So what I like to do is just take the seasonings that I want to use out, put them in a little bowl off to the side. You don't have to, but I just find it to be a little bit easier so I don't have to wash my hands so often. So this is the chili powder. Put that off to the side for my husband's, probably a little too much. There we go. And then I have just an all-purpose fish seasoning I'm using on the fish. You can use anything you want. Italian seasoning, Old Bay. I just happen to have this in my cupboard, so we're using this. It smells so good. Okay, there we go. Oh, actually not that much. Could have left it in the jar. And I'm definitely keeping this jar, okay? I'm keeping this jar. I feel like this jar could be used for so many things, so I'm keeping it. All right, let's bring over the fish. So this is a gorgeous red snapper. I have frozen peas. I thought this would be great at the bottom of this as well. This is a starchy veg, potatoes a starchy veg. If you wanted to add some more non-starchy veg, you could add frozen broccoli here. Do whatever you need to do to meet your family's needs. But I'm gonna add some peas. Just gonna take out what I want. And yes, this is gonna go right into those envelopes, frozen. In fact, some of that moisture will help to cook the fish and all the other veggies. So when you have a stocked pantry and a stocked freezer, it really makes mealtime that much easier. So we have our seasoning, our peas, our lemons, our roasted red peppers, our potatoes. Let's get our fish. How gorgeous is this snapper? This was a frozen piece of fish. I'm just gonna cut it in half. If I wanted to make one big envelope, I could do that too, but I'm gonna cut it in half just so I can have my portion and my husband's portion. This was frozen. You can get frozen fish, that is totally fine. Remember, a lot of the fish that you are finding in that fish counter that's thawed and ready to purchase and use at the grocery store has been frozen before and then thawed for you to purchase it. So don't get confused by that. Frozen fish, totally fine. Frozen veggies, totally fine. In general, it has about the same nutrient content as fresh. So we'll get it, slice this in half. I'm leaving the skin on ours. Do it like that. Okay. So my husband's piece here and my piece. Then our peas. And peas over here. You know what I want to do? I actually want to put the roasted red peppers up under that fish. Let me do that. I mean, you can't beat the colors that we're creating here, and really you eat with your eyes. So all of this color, it means nutrition. It also is beautiful to look at. Okay, and then we will do our seasoning. See, my hands are dirty, but it's okay because I've already separated out my spices. So we'll add some of that fish seasoning here and here. Get it underneath as well. There we go. Okay. I might get some more out of the freezer. I'll wash my hands and I'll make a third one. And then some of that chili powder from my husband's. Okay. And then we'll top it with our lemons. Okay. I mean, is this not looking gorgeous or what? So let me show you how to seal up these little envelopes. A little bit more roasted red pepper. So let me move some of these things out of my way and I'll show you how to seal up these envelopes. All right, so we can seal up these little envelopes from either side in like this. And then bring the other sides together. Like that. Kind of crimp it. There you go. And papillote. You see that? Let's do the other one. You do it either way you want. But sides in, ends together. And then, by the way, you could take this entire thing once cooked and then just put it right on the dinner plate and just open it up. It's this lovely, beautiful little gift of a meal. So there we go. My oven is preheated to 350, so I will pop these in and cook it until the fish is opaque and flaky and reaches 145 degrees Fahrenheit. That should be about 25-30 minutes or so.
It turned out really good.